So I've been working on this large medieval world, and I think it's about time we added an entirely new town to the mix. So I found this location right here, and I thought it would be pretty cool if I built a new town right here. So let's get started. So I think what we're gonna do first is we're gonna open Axiom, and let's use the elevation tool and set it to flatten. And now we can just clear out an area and just flatten everything out over here. So as you can see, it's just flattening out. And we don't want all these caves and stuff. Those are not what we want. And once we do that, boom, we have a nice big flat area. Of course, it looks a little bit weird, so now we're going to go over it with the smooth tool. Um, Always nice to have the smooth tool. And finally, we're going to paint it with grass so that it doesn't look so ugly. I'm actually going to be adding some pretty interesting terrain right here, so stay tuned for that. And let's paint over all of that with grass. So now we have a little land plot here. Um, I think actually what I want to do is I'm gonna push this cliff back a little bit. Um, just get that right there. And of course, you can see that we have some pretty nice naturally generated mountains right here. So we're probably going to want to use those to our advantage. So once we have these, right here, let's add another plateau maybe up here. So actually, no, I think we're gonna keep this the way it is. Oh my god, okay. So we definitely don't want that. Let's get the rock tool and fill in these gaps. Oh, okay, and once we smoothen that out, perfect. And now we have a little area here. So I think maybe we can add some mountains. I don't actually do that very often, so let's try using raise. No, that's raise. And that looks kind of garbage. Kind of ruined it. So let's just undo that. I think we can actually keep this the way it is right here. And so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get into tool masks, edit, and let's change this tool mask to my preset right here, Cliffs 2. I actually created this preset, so it's not something that you'll get when you first start. So now let's paint it to stone. Okay, it's not painting very well. Actually, this is working pretty well. Boom. And as you can see, it's only painting the cliffs, basically. Yeah, I'm not a master terraformer, so this is not gonna be the best, but I think it'll be decent. Um, yeah, and now that we have that, we can go over it with noise painter, and let's do block stone. And let's set my preset to my simple mountain preset, which I created. And let's just paint over all of this. And as you can see now, we get some nice variety and texture to all the cliffs instead of just plain old stone. Um, yeah, so now we have like a bunch of texture. This is what I've been doing for basically the entire time. We don't want this. Let's just cover this up. And get rid of all of that. And now it's like there's no cave there. So now we have some nice starting for a village. Um, so I think what we're going to want to do now is fix up this area. Excuse me. Okay. So this is looking pretty garbage, I think. So let's just set my tool masks to forests and set the tool to melt, and now I can just remove all of this forest. And I don't really like how this is looking. So I think let's just remove that again. What? Oh yeah, tool masks. What? This happens sometimes, and yeah, what the flip? Does anyone know why this is happening? If you do, please tell me in the comments, because it'd be really nice to know why this keeps happening. Okay, there we go. Okay, and we're just gonna smoothen this out a little bit, just like that. And of course, paint with grass. Nope, nope, that's not what I meant to do. Um, so let's change this to raise and just raise this up a little bit here. And let's encircle this a little bit with some mountains, because I think that would look pretty interesting. Yeah, so let's just do that. And once again, let's change our tool mask to cliffs 2. Of course, you won't get any of these presets. These you have to get yourself and turn into a preset. But of course, let's just paint this into stone again. And now we have some nice mountains. Nice. Okay, so we're getting some of those little holes there. And that's looking a lot better. As you can see, and of course, like usual, block equals stone, change back to noise painter, and go over it with the texturing. And let's see, now that this is looking good, I think we're gonna want to do something about this little thing here. Looks like it leads down into a cave down there, so I don't know, I think it looks pretty ugly, so we're gonna definitely want to do something about that. Should we fill it with water or something? Nah. Okay, let's just do the rock tool real quick and fill this with rocks. And then, of course, the smooth tool. And let's just paint this with sand. So I think we're gonna want to make a tool mask and say block equals stone or block equal grass or block equal dirt. Oh, okay. I want to change to painter and paint this to make a sort of riverbed here. Oh, that's not what I intended to do. Now that we have this riverbed, let's fill it with water. This tool you're going to want to be very careful with if you have axiom. So we're going to want to change it to water and select the flood fill tool. So you have to be very, very careful about this. If you're not careful, you could flood your whole world. So I think, yeah, we did it safely. So now we have a little pond here. And now let's change this to my beaches preset. So near water and not any of those cliff blocks. So now if we just paint into sand, and we can see that it starts painting a beach. And let's change this actually to 5. And yeah, that's much better. Okay. As you can see, we have a big area here, a lake here, and some ugly indents here. So this region, I guess, is sort of like the wetlands, like lots of water and lakes over here in this entire world. So I think I don't know, let's find some way to make this terrain a little less ugly. Yeah, so I think, I don't know if the smooth tool can't fix this on its own. So I think what we're going to want to do is change our block to grass, and then use the rock tool to add some stuff here and smoothen it out, of course, and that fills in those holes nicely. It's not the best, so I think we could definitely improve this a little bit. Let's do flatten again. Set it to day. Yeah, and we're just gonna fix that cliff up. Erase some of this cliff because that looks weird. I think around here, actually, this is where I built that toilet. Please don't watch that video. That was such a dumb idea. Yes, I admit it. I don't know why I made that video, but it was a very, very bad idea. So please don't watch it. Well, I guess you can watch it if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's so weird. So, just, of course, paint over this. Let's open up our tool masks again. I think, yes, this is the beaches, and once again, let's repaint this beach. That's looking bad, so I think I'm actually going to just do this one manually. Let's just grab some sand and fill that in. And now we can just cover all of this with grass. This is only for Java Edition players. If you press both the left click and right click on the mouse at the same time, then it'll actually replace the block. This only works on Java Edition though, so sorry, Bedrock players. And now what we want to do, Of course, let's just paint these cliffs again. This is actually a pretty nice slope right here. That was not on purpose, but I think that could be like an entrance to the outside to get to that area over there. So let's just actually first let's do this again and just smoothen out this area and make it look not so garbage. And then let's paint it to grass first. And of course, change our tool mask back over to cliffs 2 and go back over with the stone. Yeah, so now we're going to want to change our tool mask again to block equals stone, and now we just add our texture back to these cliffs. And that will do nicely. What is this hot garbage? So let's just get rid of that ugly path. And now we have a nice land plot right here for building. I think we're going to elevate this area a little bit more. So let's get the elevation tool again. Of course, change it back to raise and raise all of this stuff up. Like normal. And now, of course, again, we open our tool mask, change the preset to cliffs to paint the stone over all these cliffs, the mountains. That is really, really ugly. Let's just put the block equals path. What? Oh, yeah. Dirt path. We're just gonna get rid of all of that. And now we're gonna change our tool mask to block equals dirt path so that we can get rid of all of these ugly ass paths. So let's just, oh no, okay. Just paint over that with grass again, because no one wants the grass. And tool masks block equals stone. Of course, noise painter, paint over it with the nicer texture. And that is basically the terrain complete, I guess. So, yeah. Actually, we might want to add a little bit more elevation right here. So, oh, we don't want the tool masks. Okay, change tool. And of course, again, boring, change it all the way back to cliffs 2. Paint it to stone. No, stone. I want the stone. Paint it to stone. And then again, block equals stone, and get that noise painter in there. And there we go. Now, nope. Get out. Okay. And now we finally have the completed terrain for this town. So that is it for this video. I will probably be constructing some of the videos in the next video. I mean, some of the buildings in the next video. So be sure to stick around for that. So, yeah. Thanks for watching the video, and bye.